Today I'm going to be delivering some Demon Slayer bento boxes to some of my best friends. Here's the problem. Since these bento boxes are meant to be reheated, I have to cook everything, cool it down properly, pack them, and then deliver them. This means I lose about half of my cooking time. To make this Demon Slayer bento, I have to start off by cooking my rice because this takes about an hour to cook. While the rice is cooking, I'm actually going to be making the teriyaki sauce at the same time. This is just 1 cup of soy sauce, 1 cup of mirin, 1 cup of sake, and a half cup of sugar.
This is our teriyaki sauce for the gyudon portion.
Now that the sauce is simmering on the stove, I have to start prepping out the other ingredients. The first one we're starting with is a soft boiled egg. I have to start my water boiling right now, so this way I can throw my eggs in it when the water starts to boil. While the water is boiling, I'm actually going to start prepping out the tofu as well. Do you see now why I'm worried about running out of time? I have to juggle so many things at once. I'm using firm tofu here because it sears really well, but I'm making sure I slice it and then press it to remove any excess liquid before we sear it. So this is just gonna sit around until I need it. Okay, next, I gotta do some green onions because you have to have green onions on your bento. I'm slicing these really thin and then wrapping them in paper towel to dry them out before we use them.
Now after all of that, our sauce is ready. You see how fast that kind of happened? We're just dissolving the sugar in here. We're not really trying to boil this or cook this. Just gonna place this somewhere. Just gonna leave it back on the stove.
I don't know why he wastes time wandering around. We have eggs to boil. My large part of water is now boiling, so I'm gonna carefully place in my eggs.
Throw a lid on this so it continues to boil, and this is going to go for 7.5 minutes.
And while the eggs are cooking, I have to get my onions ready, and there's gonna be no crying today.
Now, we're actually gonna start cooking the beef.
Now, before I get to the beef, I actually have to cool down my eggs in some ice water, so this way they're ready to go once the beef is done. I'm gonna set these to the side so this way I have room to start cooking off all of this beef. Into my large pan, I'm gonna add some of that teriyaki sauce that I had made, followed by quite a few of those onions and making sure I soften these up for just a few minutes. After a few minutes of softening the onions, this is when I start layering my beef. I have to do this in batches because it is so much beef that this pan fills up so quickly.
This beef? Yep. Oh my!
This beef takes no time to cook. After about 5 minutes, I'm removing it from my liquid and then adding in more onions, then cooking off another batch and repeating this process.
So while these 2 trays of beef are cooling off, we're gonna reduce that sauce. This has so much flavor, we can't let it go to waste. So I'm gonna put it on the stove until we're ready. And while that sauce reduces, I'm gonna peel a dozen eggs. You guys, do you need to watch me peel eggs? Is that important to you?
After peeling the eggs, my sauce has also reduced, and this is going to be poured right onto that beef. Now, I do have to cool down this sauce because remember, everything has to be cold, but now I can work with my tofu. So into a large saute pan, I am brushing it with just a touch of oil, and then I'm going to sear off all of this tofu.
I want to show you guys something too. Just one, hold on, I'm going to come get you. Don't move. The one thing about doing these giant like feast videos is all of this is all the cleanup. Do a lot of the other food tubers show you this because I got to do all this. And this is already full. This thing, so many dishes, but it's worth it. You know, you get to feed people, make people happy. A little bit of dish work is fine.
Yeah, hippity hoppity, your tofu's my property. And with that, my prep work is done.
I only have a couple more things to do before we can plate up these bentos, and one of those is telling you guys about my re-release of Annie Bites. It includes both volumes of the previous books as well as some brand new recipes. When you pre-order the book at CHEFPK.com, 10% of all sales is going to go to the CHEFPK Scholarship Fund. It's a scholarship fund that helps support culinary and art students. Head to CHEFPK.com and pre-order it right now. I have bentos to plate up, deliver, and I still have to make the box. I have to make the delivery box.
I truly appreciate you guys who order the books. It really does mean a lot to me. Now that our food is all cooled down, I can stuff it into these boxes. Yes, I am using meal prep style boxes because these can be recycled, so I choose to use these because they're a little bit easier to deliver. As far as the tofu goes, I ended up cutting each of those pieces in half so everyone got 3 equal pieces and it looked a bit nicer. I also cut the eggs in half so this way they were easier to eat.
This looks a little empty, admittedly, because of the size of these bentos.
So I decided to throw in some fresh greens that I had just to make sure that it felt a little more full.
That feels a little bit better, a little more full, right?
Now, a few more finishing touches like adding in some pickled ginger to give it that spice of life, followed by some of that sauce that is now cooled down that I threw in a bottle to make my life a little bit easier, and then just a bit of sesame seed.
But there's only one way to deliver these.
And you guys already know, I have to make Nezuko's box to deliver these bentos. It's only fitting that I just use a cardboard box with a ton of black duct tape. The duct tape not only helps it give it some structure, but it also adds some details. I even made a door using the cardboard from the box and some more duct tape. There's a lot of duct tape in this. The door opens, I added more details to hopefully make it look somewhat nice. I even made a handle out of the duct tape and I put a handle on top as well.
It's amazing. I don't know if it'll hold the weight of the bentos, so we only have one thing left to do. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty proud I made this in about an hour. I also have a little special surprise in here too. I found these Demon Slayer like biscuit things at Uwajimaya. Of course I bought these. This is their dessert. Look at this. Oh, barely side by side. I'm so happy right now. The moment of truth. Yep, this is happening. Yes! Yes! All right, let's do some deliveries. Oh my God.
Now with everything locked and loaded, we're running into a problem. It's 9:54 a.m. and I have 2 hours of driving to do without traffic. This means I may not actually deliver lunch on time to someone. So I got in my car and drove to the most important person first, my wife. I had to make sure that she had lunch at 11 a.m. because that's usually when she takes her lunch break. So I threw the Nezuko box back on, made sure I almost knocked over the camera, came up to the door, gave it a good knock, and surprisingly, my wife was already there when I told her I was arriving. She had no idea what I was coming with, and again, I almost knocked her over with this Nezuko box. How does Tanjiro do this? She grabbed her lunch along with her cookie. She gave me a little bit of luck because now I have to drive another hour away to make the next delivery on time, and really, I hope I can make this. I wanted to make sure that this friend also got theirs on time because they don't have a lot of time to take breaks.
It's never gonna get not awkward. How does Tanjiro fight in this thing? It makes no sense.
Now the next friend actually works at a restaurant, so I wanted to make sure that they had a full meal that they could have while they were on their break. So I came up to the front door, I gave it a good knock, and they sent me to the back. So now I have to walk to the back of the restaurant with this really awkward backpack full of food, and luckily I was able to deliver this next bento box on time.
I got you lunch. I made a door. You get a cookie too.
Thanks, friend.
Bye, have fun, good luck. Gotta make sure the little sister is fed, the wife is fed. Now we have another big delivery to make.
I have to deliver 4 more bento boxes to this next person. It's 11:04 a.m. and they are over 45 minutes away, which means the last delivery is going to be cutting it really, really close. I made it to the next spot just in time to make sure that they would have their lunch, and I'm still kind of worried about that last delivery. So I loaded up everything and then rang the doorbell.
Wow, it's Chef PK. What are you doing here at my personal residence?
Well, many Demon Slayer fans ask the question, who's your favorite Hashira?
Yes.
I have food for you.
Please, come
Let's
in.
do this.
Even if the professor doesn't know a lot about anime, he can appreciate a really good meal. This delivery was 4 different bento boxes because I wanted to make sure that his entire crew was fed.
Wow, you went all out.
Yeah, you know, gotta represent.
This looks very delicious.
Now with this one delivery done, I still have 1 more to go, and he thought I was going to be staying to eat with them. He gave me a couple of water bottles to take with me because I was super thirsty. I didn't realize they were leaking, so the Nezuko box is a bit wet, but I had to hit the road because it's 11:53 a.m. and I only have 7 minutes to make this last delivery. This last delivery actually didn't make it on time. I was kind of sad about this because I had to park so far away. I had to walk throughout downtown Portland in my Demon Slayer outfit with the Nezuko box trying to find this next delivery. I made my way up this massive hill to find this place, and then this happened.
This is my last delivery, but I can't get in the building.
I felt really bad here because my friend actually left lunch early to come and meet me for this delivery. Although it's a terrible feeling to not be here on time, he was still super stoked to have this for dinner later. And honestly, I was happy just to be able to make someone's day by delivering this.
And with that, that's the last delivery of the day. My name is Chef PK, and remember, keep playing with your food.